Good evening and welcome back to Sunset News. And if it's the first time you're joining us, please sit back and enjoy the broadcast. In this half-hour program, we'll be looking at the news, the softer side of life in our community talk segment, story of the day, economic news, tomorrow's weather, international news, as well as sports news. Let's start off by having a look at the latest stories. SWAPO party veteran Helmut Angula has denounced the party's old tradition whereby outgoing party presidents nominate their preferred successors, saying the move does not bode well with the ideals of the party. Angula, speaking on the Evening Review show on Tuesday, is of the opinion that candidates should contest fairly without any assistance from the incumbent. His remarks come at a time when party members are on tenterhooks to see whether party president Hage Geingob will name his preferred successor. Namibian civil society organizations have written a letter to Trade Minister Shekero Twea regarding the operations of Recon Africa in the Kavango regions. The letter, dated 28 January, is addressed to Twea in his capacity as chairperson of Parliamentary Standing Committee on Natural Resources and follows on his investigations into Recon Africa's oil and gas explorations in the Kavango Basin. It says Recon Africa's actions to date have flouted Namibian law and international treaties that Namibia is signatory to. Recon Africa consistently denied this, and its spokesperson today told Namibian Sun that they will welcome the parliamentary committee to its site with open arms. Now, the result of Namibia's first grade 12 examinations on the new advanced subsidiary or AS level were announced at Oshoarongo this morning by Education Minister Esther Ngigopondoka. She again emphasized that no results have been compromised in spite of the theft last year of exam papers in various subjects. 5,007 candidates sat for the exams. A grades were awarded in 8.3% of all subject entries, while B grades made up 19.4% of results and C grades 24.8%. More than half of the results received a C or better grading. Now, the Airports Council International and the International Air Transport Association urged European governments to lift all travel restrictions for fully vaccinated or recovered individuals holding a valid COVID certificate. This follows after studies showed the testing restrictions imposed by Italy and Finland on 16 December and 28 December 2021 respectively on all incoming travelers made no distinguishable difference to transmission of Omicron cases in those countries. Conversely, the impact of these restrictions, and in particular the limitations to the free movement of people, resulted in significant and unnecessary economic hardship, not just for the travel and tourism sectors and their workforce, but for the whole European economy, these two international travel bodies said. Now, Shade Khawana's Windhoek's mayor since December 2021 opened the first council meeting of the year on the evening of the first day of February 2022. Khawana's essentially seemed to repeat the same general call to work harder and remain clean and healthy, just as her predecessors have done. Her promises also echoed the same intent: creating employment, addressing the housing shortage, and tackling food insecurity. As yet, she did not offer possible solutions. Swakopmund has given the green light for an online expert exchange project with the German city of Gießen. This project intends to expand understanding between the two cities and exchange knowledge. A similar partnership already exists between Gießen and Windhoek. The green light was given by the Swakopmund Town Council at its recent meeting. The project is scheduled to last 2 years until December 2023. The areas of cooperation include housing, sustainable development and youth development, planning and water, as well as waste management. Get your newspaper tomorrow and read all about these stories and all the other news stories, the stories behind the stories, and so much more. Stick around, we'll be going into your community talk just now. Thank you for staying with Sunset News. Our first community story today takes us to Walvish Bay, where Mayor Trevino Forbes highlighted a number of things council will focus on for 2022 at the first ordinary council meeting. Leandra Lowe was there.
We know what challenges there are, and we know no problem comes without a solution. So this year we are solving problems, be it road or sewage. Solutions must be found and implemented. I urge the administration to act on the resolutions made by Council with more urgency. Farm 37 is part of our priorities this year. Our people are growing impatient. I'm sure we have the support of all stakeholders in this regard. The councillors and I will give our assurance that we will sit down and identify the challenges that we face in Walvish Bay and find ways to iron them all out. I was left surprised last year coming into office to find this huge institution being run without a strategic plan. But I'm proud to say that the plan that we have started on last year already will be completed early this year, together with a local economic development plan, as this year we plan to get things done. I trust that my fellow councillors and the administration are united in the move for progress in this town. Every decision we take and every resolution to be executed should be in the interest of Walvish Bay and its residents. Let me be very clear, fellow councillors. The positions we have here in council is not ours, but belongs to those who voted us in power, and we should represent them at all costs. Let us not disappoint those who put their trust in us. Fellow councillors, ladies and gentlemen, the subject of cleanliness of our town is a recurring challenge that requires, yet again, a collective responsibility from all of us. In conclusion, I would like to wish everyone a very productive and successful 2022.
Hopefully all the plans will come to fruition. Now the devastating drought continues in the Kunene region. In light of this, various partners took hands to train a selected group of farmers in the area about how to apply smart crop farming. Jareen Hoff reports.
The agricultural sector remains central to a large part of the Namibian population and thus agricultural production. However, various factors have impacted the livelihoods of Namibians in general and more specifically in the drought-stricken Kunene region. The IREMA project recently hosted horticultural production training of trainers at Korigas in the Kunene region, highlighting techniques to reduce vulnerability and improve food security through drought-tolerant crops. IREMA refers to improving rangeland and ecosystem management practices and is aimed at smallholder farmers that work under conditions of climatic change in Seisfontein, Fransfontein and Warmkwelle. Speaking at the opening, Charlie Wataku of the Agriculture Ministry welcomed the training, saying that crop production in the Kunene region is critical as the region is a hazard-prone area, where poor and vulnerable farmers may not even have access to traditional sources of seed for their preferred varieties. Also, they are not well acquainted with planting. Hence, this training provides an opportunity for farmers to learn and to become leading farmers. Leading the training was Dr. Lydia Horn, Senior Lecturer and Researcher at the University of Namibia. She said that there is a need to diversify crop production depending on the season. She also alluded to the fact that in order to increase resilience of farming systems, farmers need to get an opportunity to get seeds of various crops that can perform under challenging conditions, especially as in the Kunene region. The training was aimed at providing skills that empower farmers with knowledge on horticultural production and to improve their cropping practices. This was done through teaching participants about the easiest way of growing vegetables, reasons for owning a garden, different ways of planting vegetables, the ideal conditions for creating a vegetable garden, soil management, insect and pest management, weed management, water management, harvesting, and more. The training brought together 45 farmers that were chosen from the Seisfontein constituency.
Hopefully all those farmers lead the way in defeating the effects of this drought. Now for our final clip, we head back to Walvis Bay, where the MyZone team visited the Dana Secondary School to hand out back-to-school booklets. Michelin Nawatisis submitted this clip.
some feedback from two of your guys agriculture business so far. What can we improve on? There's also space for you guys to write in the process. Okay, any feedback? Just quick 20 seconds. Back to school!
Lovely images. As they say, it takes a village to raise a child. We're excited about their futures. Now, after the break, speaking of the future, we'll be talking about a letter of guarantee we reported about yesterday with regards to the Rehoboth Town Council. Stick around for that update. This is Sunset News, and this is your story of the day. Yolanda Nell has an update from the Rehoboth Town Council regarding the letter of guarantee we reported about yesterday that turned out to be false information. Here's that update.
I'm Yolanda Nell with an update from the Rehoboth Town Council. After residents took to social media earlier this week to find out why the Rehoboth Town Council would sign a letter of guarantee to the tune of 100 million Namibian dollars, the council issued a statement saying that the information is not true. Council never approved taking financial responsibility for Jarquin Consulting Agency and developers. According to the statement issued by the Chief Executive Office of the Rehoboth Town Council, the application from the developer to purchase 71 hectares of land from the council was also not approved. They issued a stern warning to the general public as well as to financial institutions to not accept the letter of guarantee. The matter will be investigated further and discussed with the Minister of Rural and Urban Development. Jarquin Consulting Agency and Developers, who operates from Swakopmund, is registered by BIPA, but no contact information could be obtained for further comment. Residents are still wondering where the person responsible for the letter got hold of the mayor's stamp that was seen on the letter. The signature from the deputy mayor is also forged.
Many thanks to Yolanda for that update. Now, is Trustco Group Holdings living beyond its means? We'll find out in our economic news stories after the break. This is Sunset News, and these are your economic news stories. Trustco Group Holdings' current liabilities at the end of August 2021 exceeded its current assets by 664 million Namibian dollars. Nexia SAB&T, Trustco's independent JSE accredited auditors, in the group's integrated annual report, referred to material uncertainty regarding the group's ability to continue as a going concern. The Namibian-based group suffered a loss of 988 million Namibian dollars for the 11 months ended 31 August 2021, 188% more than the loss of 343 million Namibian dollars it reported for the 18 months ended 30 September 2020. Let's have a look at your economic indicators. Now, the Namibian dollar is down against all the major currencies. Very little movement on the NSX, Oryx and Paratus are down and Trustco is up. The overall index is also up by 0.63%. Weekly movement for commodities: gold is up 0.1%, Brent crude oil is down 0.1%. All right, those have been our economic news stories. Now, the tug-of-war between USA and Russia has been going on, well, pretty much since the first nuclear warhead. Let's find out what's going on with their relationship in our international news story up next. All right, let's get into our international news. Russia's President Vladimir Putin has accused the US of trying to draw his country into a war in Ukraine. He said America's goal was to use a confrontation as a pretext to impose more sanctions on Russia. Putin also said the US was ignoring Russia's concerns about the European expansion of NATO, the Western military alliance. The US and its allies accuse Russia of planning to invade Ukraine, something Russia has repeatedly denied. On Tuesday, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken tweeted that the U.S. was committed to preventing a conflict that is in no one's interest. Meanwhile, Spanish newspaper El País has released what it says are confidential documents the U.S. and NATO sent to Russia last week, including offers of talks on cutting back on nuclear weaponry and trust-building measures in exchange for reducing tensions over Ukraine. Stick around with Sunset News, because soon we'll look at your weather.
If you're feeling how I'm feeling and you know I won't stop, all we gotta do is take our love to the top. If I got it and you want it and you'll never let it drop, all we gotta do is take our love to the top. I will ride for you, maybe even die for you. When I'm loving you, but my heart don't stop.
Thank you for staying with Sunset News. Let's get straight into your weather. Omaruru is the coolest place in Namibia tomorrow with a low of 13 degrees. The capital has a low of 15 degrees and a high of 26 degrees. Rain is still predicted for large parts of Namibia for tomorrow. As I said, widespread rain is still predicted for tomorrow, although it is clearing up from the west of the country. Send us your rain photos and news. We would love to share them with everyone. This is Sunset News. We know you love sports, so stick around. More of that after the break. So you either have an active body to play sport or you have an active mind to watch it. Either way, here are your sports news stories. The Brave Gladiators squad to represent Namibia in the Africa Women's Championship qualifiers against Zambia was announced today in Windhoek. The 30 women squad to face Zambia on 16 February Lusaka. The squad will be trimmed to 25 before travel. Now, Cassius Mweti, the PRO of NFA, wants to bring peace between the media and the Namibia Football Association, claiming that he was unhappy with the reports some sports journalists made in the past. Now, the Africa Cup of Nations first semi-final clash between Burkina Faso and Senegal will take place today at Douala Stadium. Whoever wins today will either face Cameroon or Egypt in the final. This is Sunset News. Your highlights will be right with you after the break. Thank you for staying with Sunset News. Now, perhaps you got home later than usual. You know, night hours are just getting started as well. But don't worry, here are your highlights. SOPO Party veteran Helmut Angula has denounced the party's old tradition whereby outgoing party presidents nominate their preferred successors, saying the move does not bode well with the ideals of the party. Angula, speaking on the Evening Review show on Tuesday, is of the opinion that candidates should contest fairly without any assistance from the incumbent. Now, the Airports Council International and the International Air Transport Association urged European governments to lift all travel restrictions for fully vaccinated or recovered individuals holding a valid COVID certificate. This follows after studies showed the testing restrictions imposed by Italy and Finland on 16 December and 28 December 2021, respectively, on all incoming travelers made no distinguishable difference to transmission of Omicron cases in those countries. Thank you for staying with Sunset News. Every weekday you can expect us at 7:30. Do join us on all NMH pages on Facebook as well as oneup2.com. My name is Ashwin Bedi. This is Sunset News. Don't end the day without us.